All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS live stream. We have you guys covered here with the Saturday slate. I wouldn't say it's a fun slate. I wouldn't say it's not a fun slate. Just a lot of just blah plays, I guess, in general. But we'll break it down here for you guys. What are your kind of thoughts for the slate?
Yeah, pretty similar. Things could get interesting depending on how the late news breaks, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. You're kind of just forcing not great value plays into your lineup, so you just kind of got to hope they hit.
So yeah, before we get into the kind of the game by game breakdown, let's just start off with some of those not great values. So Tim Hardaway Jr. kind of one of them. DeAndre Ayton, kind of priced up at, value wise popping up there. You got Ryan Kalkbrenner, who I decently like, but that game has a big blowout risk. And that's part of the issues there. And then we look at another decent value like Isaiah Hartenstein, kind of a big in that blowout game as well. So that's part of it. Just kind of lower scoring games. And then some blowout risks. But any of those players popping up for you kind of value wise that you think are starting points?
I think Tim Hardaway Jr. is actually pretty good. They've shown that they wanted to give him minutes. Now you take two guys out of the rotation. He's only $3,900, so on a 4-game slate, it don't take a whole lot to pay off that tag.
Yeah, we'll break down that game here in just a second. But Christian Braun and Cam Johnson are out with Jokic actually still questionable. So that's kind of part of the equation tonight as well. So let's go ahead here and start off with, well, let's see if we have any comments coming in. So we got Greg saying he needs someone from the last night, the game or last late night game. There you go. We already kind of gave you that. Where are you guys going tonight? We kind of started with those values already. Then we got spelling error 9 to 5 crossover. Yeah. I've been doing the live streams here, past 2 weekends now. I did 2 years ago as well. So it's good to be back. But let's go ahead and here and start here with the Memphis versus Cleveland game. So we do know that Ja is going to be active in this game here. And is this game not on?
Yeah,
sorry, never mind. My bad. We'll do Toronto. That's my bad. Toronto versus Indiana. So we do know that for Indiana, basically all the same players are out. So Furphy, Jackson, Jones, Mathurin, Naismith, Toppin. For Toronto, we are still wondering if like Colin Murray Bowles is going to sit, but nothing like too crazy in terms of minutes. So is there anyone that you are looking at initially here for Toronto?
No one that I think would be like considered a core piece, but I do think Emmanuel Quickly, he's been playing pretty well. And the Pacers just lost Neesmith, which is kind of a big deal for their defense. So I don't mind going to Quickly, Barnes, and then RJ Barrett. He's been pretty terrible the past few games after a hot start to the season. I don't mind going there if the field's going to shy away. And then Brandon Ingram's kind of just priced appropriately. But overall, I think I prefer Quickly, Barnes, and Barrett. And then Jakob Pertl, I think the minutes are kind of not like guaranteed when you have Sandro back there, and CMB can even play some backup five. So kind of scared off on the minutes, but overall, he still looks like he's at least playable.
Yeah, I mean, he is a point per minute type of producer. So, like at his price tag, I think he's very appealing there. The issue is we are getting a decent amount of center plays tonight, and so that's kind of what hurts him. But I will say for FanDuel, I think if you're someone that plays on both sides, just get your exposure to Toronto on there. Like I like getting to like kind of two players for Toronto. It's just kind of a guessing game as to which one. It's not a terrible game. 6.5 point spread. That's not too bad. 236.5, also not too bad. But for DraftKings, they all do seem to be pretty much priced correctly, except for Jakob Pertl. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into Indiana here as well. So Indiana, you kind of well, I'll have you start. Kind of, we have Andrew Dumbarton, we have Siakam, we have Ben Shepherd. I mean, we have a bunch of like decent plays here. Tony Bradley's a little bit too cheap, but is there anyone that you're looking at specifically here?
Yeah, this team's just really banged up. At least Andrew Nimhard is kind of their. Well, I mean, they have Pascal Siakam, but Nimhard's going to be handling the ball for the most part in a pretty good matchup. I think his price is pretty good, so I don't mind going there. He's probably my favorite play here. And then you have Jeremiah Robinson Earl, probably going to be starting. Now you take another big or wing out with Neesmith. His minutes are even more secure. They've liked him. I know it's gross, but he's fairly productive when he's out there, and he's popping as a top DK value. So I don't mind going there. And he has power forward eligibility. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, one interesting thing about Aaron Neesmith being out is he was someone that maybe wasn't exactly always playing well, but he was taking a decent amount of like shot attempts per game, and so like it naturally should be a game in which Andrew Nembhard steps up. We just haven't really we don't have a big enough sample size to say it like definitively because he hasn't played all that much. He does average about like 32 fantasy points per 36 with Matherin and also Neesmith off the court, which obviously we like, but it's not a big enough sample size to really go in on. I'm trying to see who benefits the most. I mean, no one really. Siakam, they all kind of just it kind of hurts players because they're not getting as many minutes. Pretty much is the overall conclusion I'm seeing. So, what do you think about the value that we have here? Like Tony Bradley's a little bit appealing, only projected to get 16.4 points though. You also have Walker, who's priced up enough on DraftKings where we're not considering him, but FanDuel 4.6. Either of those two are those two plays that you're looking at all?
Yeah, I don't mind getting to Bradley. He's kind of another one of those value centers we could play. And then Jerace, I actually am pretty interested on FanDuel. DraftKings, it's pretty tough to get there. I think if he starts for Neesmith, then it's kind of appealing. Like I think you could take some shots. I don't know if they go him or Ben Shepherd, but you would prefer Jerace. He's just more productive when he's out there. If Ben Shepherd does start though, I think on FanDuel he's at least in play, but would prefer playing Jerace.
So that's the spot with them. It's like if they're starting, you want to be on one or the other, just depending on who's starting.
Yeah, probably. I think Jerace looks better to me either way. Just does more even when he's out there. And then as far as who closes, I don't really know. It probably depends on the game script, and their rotations are pretty hard to read.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, we'll jump on in here to the next game. We'll do OKC versus Charlotte. So we'll start with OKC. So they're going to be without basically all the Williams are out. Andrew Wiggins is out as well. And then Topic is obviously unfortunate injury for him. So looking at kind of who we're looking at DFS wise, we are getting kind of condensed player pool for OKC purposes. So it's kind of like anyone that would be looking at DFS wise is somewhat in play, but also because of that, like no one's like a lock and they'll play. Obviously, SGA is a payout for us. Everyone's probably a little bit more in play on FanDuel because they're a little bit too cheap. But is there anyone that like you're feeling you need to get to other than SGA?
Not really. I think on DraftKings, it's pretty tough to get to anybody, especially with a 17-point spread. It makes it really unappealing. Like someone's probably doing it, but just paying that price when you could get like a Jokic or something like that just don't make a lot of sense to me. They do have a few guys that on FanDuel look pretty decent. Like you have Casey Wallace is decently priced there. Isaiah Joe. Joe I do like because he probably plays blowout. They're kind of shorthanded, so I think that he might be out there in a blowout. So makes him more appealing than the rest to me. Yeah. On DraftKings, you do have we are missing Jalen Williams, the big Jalen Williams. Yep. Which kind of brings Brandon Carlson into play. He's not in the model. He's not projected for enough minutes, but on a 4-game slate, he's minimum price, center only, but he's kind of like a Tony Bradley play, like a guy that you can mix in.
I like that call. I mean, again, with the blowout risk as well, maybe he just gets another rotation that maybe typically wouldn't get, maybe gets to 20 minutes or I guess what we'd be hoping for is the 17 minutes that we saw him get in the previous game there. So I think that's a decent shout. What about, you mentioned kind of blowout run as well. Do you think AJ Mitchell would be someone that would still get run in a blowout, or has he kind of played himself out of that type of rotation, I guess?
Yeah, I don't think he would. I think they have enough guys where they don't have to run their main rotation pieces out there.
Okay. So would it be Caruso then? Because obviously the price on FanDuel is appealing, 3.9.
He could. It's hard to see. Like, I think it'll be Dang for sure, Dieng, Barnheiser, Youngblood, probably Isaiah Joe and Brandon Carlson. I kind of think they go Joe because he don't really have an injury history compared to Caruso, but it could be Caruso. I think it's either going to be Joe or Caruso, so one of them likely benefits.
Yeah. This is the tough part about the site for sure. It's just like trying to figure that out. Let's see, Charlotte as well. So Charlotte, we do know that it is the back end of back-to-back for them, and so LaMelo Ball is out. Josh Green's everyone else that's been out is still out as well. So with that, we got Miles Bridges, who I would say is pretty appealing if it were not a game that was a 16.5-point spread. Ryan Kalkbrenner, we got I want to get your thoughts on whether or not he would play in blowout run, because I mean that's really the difference, maybe, because he is popping up as one of the better values. It's just on DraftKings specifically. Does he get run if it's a blowout? Can we trust the 26 minutes as like a floor, or will it be higher? Could it be lower? Kind of what are your thoughts? But I think we should start there.
Yeah, it's pretty tough because Charlotte, they're not really playing for anything this year. So maybe they do play their guys in blowout. We've seen them do that before, especially last year. Even when the games didn't mean anything, as long as they were going to lose for tanking purposes, they still played their guys. So it's possible that they do. And then especially the young guys like Kalkbrenner, he's a young player. I think I'd feel a little bit better about projecting him for like 24 minutes, be a little more on the safe side.
Yeah.
But 26 to 28 is definitely in the realm of possibility. So I don't mind it, especially at his price. You don't need him to do a whole lot when he's out there. So don't mind Calc. And then Khan's another interesting one to me. Like, does he play blowout? I'm not sure. But either way, I think he's still in play. If they do hang in this game, it's probably him or Bridges having a pretty big game.
I do have a little bit of a hot take on Khan, just coming off of his game against Milwaukee, which was kind of a homecoming game for him. He played extremely well, shot the basketball extremely well, 12 for 20. To me, and it was an OT game as well. Like, to me, it seemed like a natural spot for him to not play well, just kind of off an emotional high. I know they still lost, but like OT game as well. Shot the basketball extremely well, 32 points. Like, to me, it just seems like a natural spot for him to not play well. But you could also make the same argument that it is the back-to-back. He's still going to have like the good vibes going, and maybe continues to shoot the basketball well. But I don't know. I could see him being someone that I was kind of hoping to be chalkier than he is. 17, 23% probably seems to be correct, especially with the multiple position eligibility. But I could see him just not playing well in this blowout. And so that was kind of a stance I was hoping to take, but I would say those ownerships are basically correct. And there's not like a direct pivot for Charlotte that we can get to. Like, I would like to be on Bridges more, Sexton maybe more, but I mean, Sexton on FanDuel is appealing, but tough to really, I would say, get in on anyone else that much more. What about Trey Mann's like the only one that I think is appealing at his price tag and is not coming in too high owned with LaMelo Ball off the court. He does average about 26% usage rate and about 32 fantasy points per 36, which at his price tag is appealing. I don't know if, like, we're not going to expect him to get 26 minutes. We haven't, or 36 minutes. We haven't projected for 28. Is he anyone that you're looking at?
Yeah, I actually don't mind Trey Mann. I don't know if he plays blowout either, but I do think that he's pretty solid. He don't need really blowout to pay off his tag on a 4-game slate. I think his price tag makes him pretty appealing. And then you also have KJ Simpson that's probably going to be running the point behind him. I mean, you have Colin Sexton there too, so they don't have to play him, but Simpson probably definitely plays in a blowout. So I do think at his price, he's in play too.
Yeah. Is there a rule that you would kind of, are you going to set any sort of rules for this game at all, like limit or try to get to like a certain amount of people?
It's hard for me on 4-game slate to like limit myself too much, but I think you could go like Mann, Sexton, KJ. I would do like a max 2 or even a max 1 of Mann and KJ Simpson. I think is a pretty good rule if you're forcing in some KJ Simpson.
Okay, I gotcha. And we did have a couple of questions coming in here, so let's answer those real quick. So is TJ McConnell still on a minutes restriction? I believe so. I don't think that's been taken off. And have you seen anything about that?
No, I haven't seen anything.
Okay. If Jokic is out, who are we looking at for the late night game? Aaron Gordon, probably. Like, I don't know. That was kind of my first thought. What about?
Yeah, Joe Val too.
Mm-hmm. And then and Jamal Murray, I would say as well. Like, just basically all of them. Honestly, Tim Hardaway, Jamal Murray, Gordon, they all become, and then J-Val as well. Like, it's kind of high usage rate player goes out, you kind of just load up.
Yeah, it'd be your best value spot of the night. It's hard for me because like Jokic just never sits, so it's hard for me to even picture it, but maybe he does.
We got HB Cards calling out Trey Mann revenge, which... True. Is this his first game against them?
I actually thought about that too.
Oh, this is a good point from DFS Buddy saying Diabe played 45 minutes last night, so Kalkbrenner would be probably more likely to play in blowout run. That's a good call. I think that's sound logic.
Yep.
Attack OKC. We'll see. So like on Khan, I do want to talk about that because it does seem like he should be in for a good spot. I feel like his ownership again is correct. I don't think you really need to take a stance to be lower on him. What about taking a stance on him being like not double the field ownership wise, but like 10% more? Like he's 17 right now, like 27% or so.
Yeah, I think that would work. Especially if you have like an OKC piece in your lineup. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's a good thought. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on into the Lakers versus the Bucks. Okay, so this one a little bit interesting in the sense that it's not that high scoring, but it is projected to be a close game. So it's only 229.5. Let's see if that's still 231 now. So like nothing too crazy there, but it's projected to stay close. So we do like that. Starting with the Bucks, we have Giannis obviously priced up. Ryan Rollins is someone that a lot of people are getting to on DraftKings. Miles Turner at kind of a soft price tag. Kyle Kuzma has been going off recently. He is projected to start. I do think that's important to call out. And then we have Portis, Cole Anthony, AJ Green, Gary Trent as just GPP flyers. If they get hot shooting the basketball, one of them could pop. I don't think we're really concentrating on them. So between the top four up here, which one, obviously Giannis, but which ones are you prioritizing?
For me, as gross as it is, I think Kuzma actually looks really good. He did play 39 minutes yesterday, which kind of worries me, but they mentioned they want him out there. They want another body that can rebound because they've struggled with rebounding so much this year, which is weird when you have Giannis out there. But anyways, I do think Kuzma is going to play a pretty good role. He's got a good matchup against the Lakers, so I'm pretty comfortable with playing Kuzma. His price is good. If we see anywhere close to 39 minutes, he looks like a really good play.
Yeah, honestly, I think it just depends on how he's shooting the basketball. Like we see this game mixed in between his two really good outings. He went 3 for 12. And so obviously you're just not going to run out a player that's, shooting that poorly. You're going to get probably Portis a little bit of run. But in regards to the slate that we have, he's probably my favorite kind of value that we're getting. I wouldn't say he's like my favorite play, but like price tag wise, like in terms of like breaking the slate open, I like it. And I'm a Bucks fan who hasn't really liked Kyle Kuzma, so take that for what it's worth. Any love though for like Miles Turner, or even on the other side of that, like DeAndre Ayton? This kind of matchup here to me is somewhat appealing.
Yeah, I don't mind getting to Turner. On DraftKings, his price is pretty appealing. We do have some cheap centers, but he's going to be low owned. So I do think it kind of makes your roster build, your construction different. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot better recently as well. Hasn't really popped too much. Really only one game where he's really popped, but solid. But yeah, you're right. We have other centers there. And then in regards to Giannis, is on both sides, is he someone that you just have to play on this small slate, or is it someone that you think the ownership's just correct on?
I think it's correct. I think I'd rather play Jokic, assuming he does play, just because it's a back-to-back for Giannis. Kind of worries me a little, but it is a really good matchup against the Lakers, and Jokic has to go against Gobert, which isn't too fun. So I do think anywhere you could get to Giannis, he looks like a really good play. I just slightly prefer going to Jokic.
And then I do just want to give a slight shout for AJ Green. He is a little too cheap on really both sides, but DraftKings, he's someone that can just make 4 3 balls and kind of make the night DFS wise. And he should just be at like 4.3, and then he's correctly priced. So worth calling out. Project for 27 minutes. A player that can get hot and really break a slate. So nothing too crazy there, though. Let's jump into the Lakers. So for the Lakers, let's see. Marcus Smart questionable. Hachimura is out. Then LeBron's still out, and Gabe Vincent is still out there as well. So does Marcus Smart being out change anything for you? If he does it, like who would you want to get to the most there?
Yeah, I think it makes Laravia more appealing, assuming he starts there. His ownership would change, but he's kind of priced up as well, so he wouldn't be like a smash play. He's kind of just depending on his ownership, he could be a pivot off of Kuzma if you wanted to go there. So don't mind going to Laravia. He has good positional eligibility as well.
Yeah, is he like? I know he's not getting that much ownership, but like with Hachimura out, is he like someone we should be looking at already, even at that low ownership, or is that just like he's just too priced up right now?
I think so. The minutes will be there. I mean, he's one of their more productive players, so I do think
Mhm.
he's definitely in play. Someone you want to be overweight on.
And then we also have like Jared Vanderbilt, who should get he does get the most minutes with Hachimura off the court. Not like that's significant, but we have him projected for 23 minutes. Maybe that ends up being a little bit lower. I don't think it's worth mentioning his per 36 production, but he is cheap. Is he someone you're looking at all?
Yeah, I prefer him on FanDuel just because of the stocks. And
Yeah.
the Bucks do drive a lot to the basket, so someone that could pile in stocks or he could get in foul trouble. Either way, I do think he's a pretty good tournament play.
Yeah. Okay. And then in terms of like Austin Reeves and Luca and DeAndre Aiden, obviously on FanDuel they're a little bit more appealing. Aiden and Reeves more specifically there, but either of those three are you looking at, or how much are you looking at them?
Yeah, I think they all look good. It depends what you can afford. I think Reeves looks good if you can't get to Luca in your lineup. If you can
Mhm.
get to Luca, definitely prefer that. But I do think Reeves is pretty solid here. So is Luca. And then Aiton on FanDuel looks like a pretty strong play. We have a lot of good centers. We've already talked about a few, but I do think on FanDuel his price makes him a really good play.
Yeah, it's like I almost want Jokic to sit tonight just to make it a little bit easier with the center position, you know.
Hmm.
And so we'll jump into Denver. So we've already touched on this a decent amount, kind of what we would do, but we'll just recap it. So yes, with Denver guys, we do know that Jokic is currently questionable. Christian Braun is going to be out, and then Cameron Johnson's also out as well. It does seem like a true questionable kind of game time decision for Nikola Jokic with the wrist injury there. So we already mentioned it, but let's just recap it. Who would be looking at if he does end up sitting?
Yeah, I think first you would go with Joval, which would be his direct replacement. I do think they would play him a lot of minutes just because Zeke Naji's behind him, which is never someone you really want to get on the court if you're trying to win.
Mhm.
So I think Joval's minutes would be, he'd have a really high ceiling in terms of minutes, and he's only 3,500 on DraftKings. FanDuel 41. Still think he's even playable on DraftKings if Jokic plays. So don't mind going to
Yeah.
Joe Val. Aaron Gordon, we've seen Jokic out, and Aaron Gordon just he dominates most of the time. So I like Aaron Gordon either way, but prefer him if Jokic is out. Jamal Murray would see a huge usage bump in a pretty decent matchup, so I don't mind going to Jamal as well.
Yeah, I did want to kind of go back to J Val there with Minnesota. They obviously run out Randall and Gobert, kind of two bigs, and then also they do have Nas Reed there as well. So like just naturally, he's someone that could be even like more, maybe ends up getting 17 minutes instead of the 14 that we haven't projected to get, which obviously for J Val being a point per minute player would be huge. So yeah, I think you could make lineups hoping that Jokic sits with JVal in there. And if Jokic plays, it's not a lost cause there specifically on DraftKings. It is worth calling out that with Jokic out, and this is not going to happen, but JVal does average 51 points per 36. So he's not going to get 36 minutes, but that just really tells you how much he crushes. And then Jamal Murray's usage goes to 28%, which is up about 2%. So pretty solid there overall. And then it is kind of spread out from there. But I do think Aaron Gordon on FanDuel as well, like just probably someone we're playing regardless. And same thing with Jamal Murray. FanDuel is just pretty cheap today.
Yeah, definitely are. We've kind of seen they've been fully healthy, so their prices have just corrected. So now that you take two people out of the rotation, it makes them a lot better. And then if Jokic sits, it just makes it even better. So I think you
Yeah.
start with a lot of Denver and then just kind of move to wherever you can once Jokic is ruled in or out. Just kind of make your swaps from there. But you already kind of be ahead of the field if you just start with at least some pieces of Denver.
Yeah, I think that's good. And you could run it back with Minnesota a little bit, but they're all, I would say, a little too cheap, but that also makes getting to any of them like difficult. I would say like who, and with the center spot as well, like Rudy Gobert is somewhat appealing, but like I don't want to waste my center spot on him. I could be wrong about that. Who are you looking at here for Minnesota?
Yeah, I think Ant at the high end, he's not super expensive on DraftKings. I think he looks pretty appealing there and a pretty good game environment. So I don't mind him and Randall. I think they both look pretty solid. Dante had a big game. I think it was yesterday. He played pretty good. I don't mind it. At his ownership, he looks like he's playable. Nas Reed's fine. I do kind of like Gobert. especially more if Jokic sits going against Jovel. So I think even if you started with some Gobert in your lineups, you could swap that to Jovel if Jokic sits, or you could
Mhm.
keep some Gobert too. But I think he's kind of a good placeholder for you to swap around. So I don't mind starting with some Gobert in my lineups and then figuring it out from there.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Um, do you want to risk though, like two center spots, like in the late night game?
I don't know. It's tough. I was looking at the early centers, and there is some pretty good ones. So it's really tough. It's a tough slate for to like do that. But you do have a lot of centers in the late window that are good.
That's
Like
true.
you have Aiton, Miles Turner, Gobert, and then Joval Jokic. So there's plenty of room to kind of make it work.
Yeah, we don't even like Nas Reed's like pretty cheap and kind of chalky. We don't even really have to get to him if we don't need to, but he's another pivot there as well with multiple position eligibility as well.
Yep.
And so we did get a little bit of news here. So we got news that Marcus Smart is indeed out. So we'll just kind of recap that. So Larivia, as you said, a little bit of a better play. That does Dalton Connect become in play at all?
Yeah, I do think he's in play just because of the slate. Him and Tim Hardaway Jr. are the same price. The field's probably going to go to Tim Hardaway Jr. more than Connect, so I do think he's at least in play. Um, it's not a horrible matchup. I don't mind Connect.
And then we got someone saying it seems like a balanced build type of slate. Yes and no. I mean, we have a bunch of pay ups, so it's like take a peek at the OF index here. So obviously, it is we got Jokic, Luka, and Giannis and SGA, like all the players that we typically want to be paying up for are on the slate. So that's what makes it difficult. Do you see it as like a one stud type of lineup night, or do we try jamming two studs and play the decent value that we have?
I think it's one, but it could turn into two, depending on the Jokic news. Like
Yeah.
if we get that Jokic news and you have plenty of space in your lineup, you can jam in Luka and Giannis, and then just kind of play a bunch of the cheap Denver pieces. So I think right now you can only really fit one comfortably. If you play two, you're probably playing like I don't even know. So
You'd
pretty
have to go
close.
Giannis and SGA probably, which
Yeah,
obviously they're a little bit cheaper, and then you're still punting to Tim Hardaway Jr.
yep.
Kyle Kuzma revenge night? No, it's not. It's not. It's he's played them a bunch. He's on a whole different team now too. I get it though. Joachim Pertl looking like a good play. I do think he's a decent play tonight. He's always been a point per minute type producer, and he's projected for around 28 minutes in a decent match against Indy. I don't mind it. He's at a very soft price tag.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all.
And so let's see. We'll try to give a first look build for you guys. So I think we should start it with the value and then work on the rest of the lineup from there. Does that work for you?
Yeah, I like that.
So which I like Hawkburner the most for center value if we're going there, especially at his ownership right now. That's like the way we can get unique. But would you want to go to Aiden or Joachim Pertl instead?
No, I'm fine with going to Calc.
Okay. So we'll do that, and we'll do Tim Hardaway Jr. as well for the lineup here to start, because we kind of just have to play Tim Hardaway Jr. if we're trying to pay up for a stud, right?
Yeah.
So from there, I do like Kyle Kuzma. Is that fine?
Yeah,
Okay.
I like Kuzma.
And then from there, it does become like, who do we want to pay up for? I think if we want to prioritize paying up, or we could obviously do a balance build, but
Yeah, that's tough. I prefer Jokic if we knew he was going to play, but I don't know.
Well, we can do that, and then we'll try to make it so if we can't play him, we can get to Giannis.
Yeah.
So I did just refresh this. I want to just see if we're getting any more value here, DK wise. So it is saying Reeves now with Marcus Smart being out. That's a little bit interesting to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a little bit more usage to him.
Yeah.
Do you want to put him in the build and see? It would be ugly after that, though, I think.
I know, that's the hard part. Like, I think he looks pretty good, but once you play Jokic, then it's kind of tough.
Yeah, we have 4.9 left over. It's not terrible. We could go Jake LaRivia still if you want to get the low own upside
Yeah,
there
we
as
could
well. Probably not enough chalk in this build though right now.
Yeah. What else we got? Jeremiah Robinson Earl. If we want to play some chalk.
Yeah, we definitely need to get to some chalk here. It's a little bit too different. We already have someone power calling us out for Cockburn and Kuzma. So yeah, a little too different on the slate already. Yes, exactly. Peter, yeah, who's that for Indiana? Is he back tonight? I didn't even notice. He is.
Yeah,
he's back.
I wouldn't play him.
No, he needs to be someone that flashes first for us. I do want to see what he's done recently. Yeah. Not even getting 15 minutes. He's had one game of 17 minutes where he got 6.5 points. So don't play him. Yeah, let's finish out this build. So we got guard left, 5K. I think I'm fine getting to Isaiah Joe, honestly.
Yeah, I am.
Not this really sums up though how we started the video. I think we set the tone perfectly at the intro of the video. It's like this is the night that we have right here, this lineup.
Yep. Yeah, and I think it's a slate where you don't need to be afraid to get different because the chalk isn't great. So as you can see in our build, like we weren't jamming in JRE, like he just kind of fits, and we needed some more ownership. But I wouldn't be afraid to get away from a lot of chalk.
And let's just talk about the chalk here real quick. We have a little bit of time here. So the chalk right now is Hardaway, Ant-Man, JRE, Reeves, Giannis, Bruce Brown. So like I don't really see any of those as fades. I just feel like Hardaway's like the easy value that we're playing, and then everyone else is kind of correct. It's just correct ownership, it seems like.
Yeah, that's how I am too. I prefer the Nuggets guys as far as like cheap value, like Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway Jr. I feel better about their minutes, and the spread's good there, so I do like them a little bit more than the other real cheap plays like JRE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really did wish this slate or the game for Toronto versus Indy wasn't a potential blowout. It's only 6.5 points. That's not too much, but I do like Andrew Nembhard. Like he could be someone that breaks the slate, and I'll probably have a little bit of regret if he's in like the GPP winning lineup and I wasn't overweight on him.
Yeah.
Then just see if we have any more comments. No, not really. All right, so real quickly, we'll talk about FanDuel, then we'll get out of here. So FanDuel ownership wise, guys, Murray, Reeves, RJ Barrett is pretty chalky. That could be a fade, right?
Yeah, he's been pretty terrible lately. If he was low owned, he'd look more appealing.
And then Aaron Gordon's much more appealing on FanDuel, right?
Yep. Yeah, he looks good.
Then after that, the ownership does spread out more. Obviously, Jamal Murray, pretty safe, I would say, value chalk play on FanDuel. It's just tough to avoid him at that price tag.
Yep.
All right, so like core for FanDuel, would you say it's like Murray, Gordon, and then like who after that? Reeves? I mean, he's kind of popping up there.
Yeah, I don't mind like a Murray, Gordon, Reeves. I probably would go like Murray, Gordon, Nembhard for me. I think
okay.
That sounds a little bit better.
Gotcha. So I think that's going to do it here, guys. Again, kind of a 4-game slate, kind of broke down everything for you guys, did the ownership as well. We'll catch you guys on tomorrow's NBA live stream. And then don't forget, we also have the NFL live stream as well tomorrow night. Do we have a live stream tonight at all?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. So yeah, we'll catch you guys on tomorrow's NBA live stream. That'll do it for tonight. Thank you guys for watching.